Hello everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would show you some updates, quite a bit of updates actually, mostly to the space carrier. Um, I do have this Creel ship now complete though. I just haven't got it released yet. I forgot it was Father's Day yesterday and some other things. I did finish up the ship inside out. It's got its LCDs. I made some more texture changes, changed the nose of the ship a little bit again. A lot of little tweaks. I had to get the O2 in there and some other things, and found little issues and problems here and there that I've corrected. But I've mostly seen what it looks like from the last video. So I'm going to try to get this out either today or tomorrow. So sorry about the delay on that. I planned on getting it out yesterday, but I got it finished yesterday, but I didn't actually get the screenshots and all the other stuff taken for it. I'd like to do something a little bit more extensive again with screenshots. What I really need to do is find or get a scenario that I can get around easy in and have different types of planets, because I'd like to find what I think would be appropriate for a Creel homeworld planet at some point, and I don't know exactly what that would be yet. MCRN, I actually found something for, and the humans and the Scar fit pretty good with like anything, or the desert. Um, as in the space carrier, well, a lot has been done to the ship. So I've been actually putting most of my time working on this for a bit now, and it's coming along. There's not, comparatively speaking, that much more to do in it. So that's a bonus. But I wanted to show you some changes and new areas in the ship. Um, I'm gonna go to mood lighting. Um, Pretty typical. I like to see what these again look like with the lights on. I'm gonna try to get through this fairly quickly, although it's pretty extensive. So quick run through the lowest deck of the ship. Now, at its biggest point, which is this elevator in the back of the ship, this is deck one. It actually goes up 9 decks. So there's a lot of ground to cover just on the back part of the ship, and the front part's different, and then of course all the hangar side stuff. Um, so this room is existing, nothing new here. This room I believe I've walked through before. Now, if it looks extra bright right now, it is because it is extra bright, and that has to do with some spotlights I have installed in the hangar. Um, I'll show you that in a little bit here. And then we come up to the shooter's bar and range. This is a pretty cool section. I am I think that I'm pretty sure this was made by NMK 111. I know he did the another section above here, but I keep on wondering if I'm getting this wrong on who set up this area. Now I did with a lot of these areas. I've been tweaking them. I've been trying to dial them in to fit with the rest of the ship with colors and textures, but I'm not like making changes to the layout or anything like that. So it's all the original author's creations and work. Um, so this area here, basically, you have a shooting range, and then you have a bar over here. So that is a very, very cool section. Real creative too on the space that was given on what you could put in the ship. It's really, really cool idea. I would have never thought of doing this myself. So it'd probably just been more random things. Um, this front area of the ship is fairly not populated with stuff. Front bottom, I should say. This area was laid out by Dash EDM, and of course, I went through and I did make some changes and texture changes and things in this area too, just again to dial it in so it fits the rest of the looks of the ship and the MCRN theme a little bit more here. So that would be the smallest deck. Well, I won't say the smallest deck, but this is one of the decks. Floor one as we get across here. Let me go up to deck 2 here a minute. Now, deck 2 is kind of crosses over on parts of the hangar, so, well, through the hangar. So it's a bit of an interesting deck for sure. I'll start with out these side doors. It gets you to the back hangar access. Now, this is what the hangar is looking like with spotlights installed, and there's 6 of them. It's the only way I could illuminate this big of an area, and the big issue was standard lights aren't visible at the distances needed across the hangar, so I had to, spotlights are though, mostly, but even those fade away after a little bit. But it does add a lot more light to the hangar space. So I'm going to start, let's go over here and I will show you all the revisions done to bullet magnets area. And this is the hospital section. Now I've tweaked this a couple times, and I think I got it dialed in where it's looking pretty decent with the rest of the ship right now. And this is all his original like layout and setup and everything like that. I didn't make any changes in regards to that, or very little. But very cool section. I love this area. It's a big hospital. You have all these surgery rooms and whatnot. And it's two floors involved in just this section here. So obviously a whole bunch of these nice clean looking surgery rooms, very bright lights in the section. Then it goes up a floor here, and you got like a little conference room and more medical stuff, more like surgery rooms and things like that. And there's some other side areas back over here with like a shower set up. There's a lot just in this one area. And then of course the lobby when you get in here. Now moving up on the same side of the ship, this is one area that I still have not gotten to. This is the biggest remaining area that is unfinished. So I got to plan this out and figure out what I gonna do here yet. It's right below the brig and in between the hospital and the brig, so I don't want it entertainment-wise. I want it something worthwhile, but I don't really want it like a prison or anything more there. I'll have to figure out what to put there. So this top area is the brig. This was set up by Excalibur. I went through and I finished it up. Again, kind of dialed into the MCRN look and color on this chunk here, and basically you have a bunch of like cells. So there's 6 different cells over here. You kind of have your check-in area. Over here you have a couple holding cages. And yes, don't mind the random curvy railings there. I had a bit of an issue. I had symmetry turned on when I was kind of tweaking out another area on the other side of the ship, and I didn't mean to. So there's a few things that got kind of screwed up or added in that weren't supposed to, like those railings here. So I've been just kind of cleaning that up as I see it. So that is this section. Now I don't have some of these elevators finished off. I have some of them finished off though, but not these side ones yet. So moving into the center area here, and this is getting into Red Baron's massive farm complex and Empyrion, I think that is. I'm not keen with English or any language. This area is really cool though. This is 2 floors. This area kind of is the center of the hangar section as you kind of look in there. On the second floor up here goes into the pretty large farm area. So it's got 3 different growing lanes. I got a couple of them turned on right now so you can get an idea on what that looks like. Yeah, just a lot of stuff going on over here. And then on the back side you've got all your function, your fridges and your cooking or food processors. um, and whatnot. So moving on to this other area here. Now this area, I don't think I showed a, a whole lot yet. I was kind of keeping it a little bit under wraps, but we're going to show it now. This is Crazy Z's. All three of these floors over here are by Crazy Z. And the first floor is a entertainment slash theater. So this would be your lobby, and it's got a bunch of different shops here. All these are custom LCDs, very complicated, like I'm a pixel art type of LCDs, um, and very very cool, very cool. And then over here you even got like a little pole position game. I may try to get that screen copied over to a couple more of these areas here. I changed some things around. Maybe I'll put it back. I now realize that the seats I put here weren't appropriate. It used to have like almost like cockpit seats, so I might put those back. I thought that actually looked better than what I changed it to. So as you come through here, you get into the theater area, and well, I'll probably have to update the sign for that. But and this is the theater. Now, I did make a few changes to the theater too. I just love the ideas so much, but I ended up raising up the screen one block, and I have thought about trying to add in elevated seating here, but I think I'm just not enough room. Possibly, I don't know. It's pretty hard to scrunch all that stuff in. It's not that big of a room. Um, but yeah, some little tweaks, and I added some little stuff here and there, just to I don't know, try to go with the flow. Um, very very nice. This whole section is just cool to just hang out in. There's a bathroom back over in the corner there. So that is the first floor of this section here. Let me find the elevator. Now I got to do up a lot of these elevators yet. Again, some are probably missing textures and whatnot. Let's go up to the next floor in here. And this is a sports fitness center. Yeah, pretty slick. Bunch of different games around. And other things. So we've got a little boxing ring over here. This would be like simulating weight lifting equipment. A little tennis court, a sauna. Gotta have a sauna. That's cool. A couple racquetball rooms over here. And then you have a locker shower room area over here. So it's just cool stuff. So that is what this whole floor is pretty much dedicated to. Obviously, there's doors that go up the other side. This gets into some more engineering stuff and things like that. These areas here were done by SEMP. So going up another floor. Now, one thing I am going to have to make a change, though, is I do have to seal this elevator off. So I'm probably going to have to do some modifications. Maybe tie that in a little bit more with the gravity generator, which unfortunately kind of needs to be placed where it is. This ship in total took 7 gravity generators to get the entire ship to have gravity, and I had to put some like in locations like right in this area or right around this area to make it work, and it's very precise. I try to use as few of gravity generators as I possibly could for the ship, and it came to 7 to guarantee that you don't start floating around if you're in space. Since it's a space carrier, I figured that would be probably pretty appropriate. So coming up to the third floor up here, you have the Early Rooster Cafe by Crazy Z. This is quite a elaborate area for sure. I made some changes to it from the original layout. Not really changing too much, but I lessened the light count some, and I suppose added in a little bit more social distancing on the number of tables and things that were in the section. But that is really about it. I was just trying to make it a little more optimized for the most part. I did, God, I don't know if I changed any colors in here. I don't think I did. I did mess with the lighting, and I try to give it that I don't know, that warm, elegant look, um, or kind of, yeah, just I don't know. But anyway, you get the idea. This is quite a place. It's really does look quite authentic, I think. Some fancy kind of restaurant, more or less here. So that is those three areas. This is one of the unfinished rooms I've got over here. Um, there's one like this on the other side of this top thing. This isn't much to do, so it's on my to-do list of getting this done as well here. So this is kind of what the two runway bays look like now that they have lights. And that kind of will head all the way out to this main hangar over here. So I'm going to start on another area here. I'll just briefly show you engineering. I've shown this before, so it's not new. But in case you haven't seen it before, this is where all the most of the main parts of the ship are going. I won't say necessarily all, but so you have some generators, your shield, warp core, CPU tier blocks are out on the sides over here, some oxygen storage, fuel storage, stuff like that, offline protection. No! Another missing texture there. Yeah, I'll have to. I'll catch that on the final run through here on the ship once I get to that phase. And then there's some wacky hallway systems that go along this back section. A couple of them go into these thruster engineering overlook sections. Now these areas were done up by Doom Noodle. Very cool. Again, I tweaked out a couple things after the fact with some of the textures and colors, but that's about it. And again, just trying to dial it in so it kind of meets with the all the rest of the ship here. And then there's some barrage of some crazy rooms and things over here. These were very awkward spaces to try to deal with. The layout and everything on them was kind of I don't know. There wasn't a lot of space, and it was kind of vertical and angled and weird to work with. So I did what I could. Maybe I don't know. And then you got some hallways that kind of run back from like some of these engineering floors and these top runways that run all the way across the ship. And these are mainly just being used to hold air tanks right now. I don't really know what else to put in them. I suppose I could get some detail items in there as well. And you got a couple like Hangar Overlook balconies over here. And this will eventually tie up to the brig, which is across this catwalk over here. Now this area is especially plain right now. Another hallway. Again, weird shape, weird size to use. Not sure what to do with the area in these. And then if you keep on going, this area is unlit yet, so we'll need some lights. But this kind of walks up above these hangar doors, and then would get you back into like the brig on the other side of the ship. Now, I haven't shown you anything new yet, though. All this is existing stuff. Quick brief thing on the crafting area. This has 8 320K storage bins and a lot of the other little stuff that you'd want in a crafting room. This room will get a teleporter as well as the bridge and the farm. Basically, any areas that are important for ship function, I'm trying to, rather than walking there, which could take a while, trying to get them so you can teleport around to your core functions. So really the only way I can make this easily usable, being at the scale that it's at and the separation of where a lot of this stuff is from one another. So as you go through the crafting area, you get into the mess hall, and this is a pretty big area, and there's a lot of crew rooms and things off to the sides of the mess hall. I'm going to go straight through the mess hall first, though, to show you the front loading bay area. And this is another pretty big area. basically, I think it looks kind of like a loading bay. Doom Noodle was kind enough to kind of like after the fact, like tweak out all these little side rooms and things like that. And these are more engine rooms. And here we go again with another gravity generator. That's I had to be in that general location. And then up at the front of the ship over here. I don't have the O2 on currently, and I'm going to have to make all that work too. And I'm trying to separate elevators and rooms so they're airtight, so I can do proper separation between zones of oxygen. So that is out the front of the cafeteria, and you got a central elevator here that's again going to go up or down. You'd never guess elevators did that. Who would have known? No, I'm kidding. But anyway, over on these side areas, oh man, more missing textures. What did I do here? Here and there, I made a bungle goof when I was doing a couple things and whatnot. So over here we have one of the taverns. Now this one I have not tweaked out yet. I probably will make a couple changes to it. There's one like that on the other side that I did kind of modify some, give it a little different look. The author, I believe Red Baron, when I told him to originally just do it in symmetry because there's a room like this on the other side. Then I decided, well, maybe I should try to make them both a little bit more unique from one another. So we've got this tavern over here then. Then there's all these individual crew rooms, and some of these are big. Some of them even have two decks to them or 2 floors to them. This one here, I believe, is also done by Red Baron. But there's a whole barrage of these crew rooms in this ship, and a lot of them are down these angled hallways, all going to different, unique-looking crew rooms, done by different authors. Like, I think the N one down here, I believe this is Crazy Z. Pretty sure that's Crazy Z. I did this bluish one. God. You see, I'm trying to remember who did everything. I'm going to have to talk to all the authors and get figure out exactly who did what. I know this one, I believe, was NMK 111. It's just cool that they're so unique. So I mean, when you go through these on both sides, you're not going to just see the same thing over and over again. You're going to see different stuff on every one of these rooms, which is pretty cool. Now I believe it's down to one room over here that I have not finished yet, so I will get to that one. But just a lot of crew rooms. Let's see what else. Okay, now on with all the new parts of the ship. Yes, all this was existing so far. So I got to get up top side here. So let's find a good spot for that and start from one end or something like that. All right, so from engineering, can this get me there, or do I got to go up a floor? I bet you got to go up a floor. All right, so this whole floor is all new. And it's a lot of fluff. It's kind of filling in some space. And there's a lot of space to fill in for sure. So I added like more of a message center over here is what I'm kind of deeming this as. Basically, if you're out, for a long deployment, so you could call home, use video conferencing or whatnot, or email stuff. Basically like an internet cafe messaging center with a little, facilities on it. And this kind of gets up into this front area. This is a unique area where it's kind of cut through several different floors, and this goes to the Hangar Overlook. This was an idea by, I believe it was Semp or Bullet Magnet. One of the two said it would be really cool to have something like this in the hangar, and I thought so too. So That's what this is, and it's a weird floor where when you walk down in here, you are completely surrounded by hangar on all four directions. So I thought that was kind of neat, and you can kind of look up a ways as well. Um, so this deck is new. Let's go up a floor from here. Or deck 7 we're on right now. Now this gets into the captain's quarters slash another new section. Over here we've got now a training room, conference room kind of thing. I suppose configurable. It's right outside the captain's quarters. Training. Your crew on new things or have meetings or whatnot. But it's convenient and kind of reminds me of where I worked before. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a conference room we had there, at least the layout. I won't say it didn't have orange on the walls, but you know. So when you get all the way up here, then you get up to the captain's quarters. Now, one thing that was done uniquely over on this part of the ship is I cut the hallway that ran along the other side, like it does in so many places on the ship, and just had it asymmetrically done over here. And then this gets into the captain's quarters. Now, this was originally set up by Tactician. And I did make some changes to the front area especially, and he had a really cool setup. And he had some NPCs, like security and whatnot over here. And it also had a second hallway that came in from the other side through here. But since I removed that hallway completely, that didn't make any sense. So I turned this area into a little bit of a kitchenette area. And one of the decisions I did make too is I did cut all the NPCs from the ship. So those guys weren't there. So I turned this into a little kitchenette over on the side here. And then as you go back into the actual captain's quarters, it's a pretty deluxe area. Really nice viewpoints too, looking over the runways on either side of the ship from this room. So that part is new. Let's see what else is going on up here. Let's go to deck 8. I know it seems like I skipped some decks, but some of them run into another and so on and so forth. This area here was done by NMK 111, and this would be like a command and control section. Design plans, mission planning, intelligence, all that kind of stuff that you might want on a ship. And this, this even has 2 decks to it. Again, with this area too, I did the same thing I did to so many other areas. I kind of dialed in some of the stuff, added in, like I chopped a little bit of the ceiling away and added in some more block work and things like that, and whatnot. So, let's see, when we go up the front here, we're actually on the top side over here. And we get down over here. Now this is actually technically back at deck 7 here. Those are the ways to deck 8. Now here's the swimming pool. This was a idea. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember who originally came up with the concept of the pool and kind of did the block work for the pool. I think it was Red Baron or Escarly. It's been months, so I'm trying to remember exactly who did what now. And like I said, I don't want to be wrong. So if I am wrong, please let me know I'm wrong, because I want to know I'm wrong. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to drop down a floor. And so this is back. Oh yeah, this is another floor. Off the front side of this entire room that was done, this area here is new as well. Right now I've got some fairly unfurnished plain rooms over to the side. Again, the hallway was done asymmetrically, only on one side on this part as well. I do admit those rooms are bare. So now we're going to come into Crazy Z's other massive extensive section here, and this is this one I tried to accent and tweak out a little bit more than what was already there, keeping all the original stuff Was just a slick layout. So one of the modifications I did do is I did add some glass into the floor. Um, it's kind of visible from the hangar itself, but I put these grates in there to try to kind of cover that up a little bit. Not that I wanted to hide the glass, but it had to do with the white carpet texture that the glass has to be colored in. I was just trying to keep it so it blended in pretty good. And you can get an idea on what this place looks like. This place is really, really fancy and expansive. Um, so modern art over here. It's glass below that now too. Um, but I made very, very few changes in the area. I was just kind of playing with textures. I did make a main color change. The wood grain was red before, and I changed it to more of a natural look. Um, but that's about it there. I think I added these pieces in too, trying to make a decorative pattern. Now all the textures were of this prior. And I was just trying to, I don't know, in one way or another, try to add a little bit of something to it. Whether you like that or not, I don't know. So that's not sure. As you go through the front of this room, then you get to the bowling alley. Now I did have to seal this elevator off. It was kind of open before, but it has to do with you know, the oxygen and whatnot, trying to compartmentalize these different areas. So I do have to seal some more elevator entries in places as well. So this gets into the bowling alley. You know, of course you got a swimming pool and you got racquetball courts and you got a boxing match and you got a sauna and a movie theater. But yeah, you got to have a bowling alley too. So here we go. We got a 3-lane bowling alley. Um, Very, very cool. I did adjust the lighting in this section some as well. And a lot of it had to do with light reduction. So I was taking out a lot of the lights that were there, but I was putting in more powerful lights, but fewer of them. But if you notice, when I'm walking around this ship on the planet's surface, my frame rate's pretty good. Now, some of that might have to do with A12, but I did a lot of optimizations to the ship from past versions, and I think that did help a lot too. I probably pulled 50, 60 lights out of the ship and a lot of other things, some of the other stuff, just to get it more tweaked out, so you're not going to have massive frame rate issues, especially if you don't have a real powerful PC. Um, so that's this part. Now going up a floor from here, and catch that at one of those elevators. Not on the front part here though, but floor over here. There's a second level to this, and now this is obviously overlooking what you've seen down there below already. And then there's a floor up above here, which is like another nice fancy bar tavern type area, relaxation area. So that covers that section, and then right off the back of there is where you get into the swimming pool. Now, areas that are left, the bridge. I did start on the bridge. It's just not done yet. So I'm going to get regular daylight going again here. So I got to keep on working on this. I got to figure out what switches I'm going to want, place for a teleporter on the bridge, things like that. But it's making its way too, so it's not that far done, or not too far from being done. But I'll probably put another hour or two at least into the bridge until I can get everything done on it. Trying to think if I missed any other areas. Well, basically, I'm down to 5 rooms, I think, that need to be finished, or 5 areas. This area here at the front of the ship, pending on the ship that I'm really going to want to build to dock into this specialized dock, and it'll probably cut into the wall here, and that's why I didn't want to like finish this off on the inside yet, because it's just not ready. So that, oh, in this area I got to add some railings here too. This is again walking along the mess hall in the center there. Another. God, did we go? Yeah, I thought we went through the farm area. Yeah, we already went through this area. So there's that room. There is the mid room on this side over here that needs to be done. Um, one of the crew rooms near the mess hall, and I'm really thinking that's it. Little other areas too. This area got tweaked out a little bit more too, and I actually kind of put something in these rooms over here as well. But yeah, it's really getting there. It's I mean, comparatively speaking, on the interior left is probably only about 5% of the amount of interior that's in this full ship. So it is well on its way at this point in time. Now, in the comments too, it was talked about on color coding different floors, and I was all for that, thinking, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. And then in practice, in reality, I'm like, how in the heck am I going to do that? First of all the colors in the palette are used. So I'd have to use a color that already exists. And then what would I do exactly? Like try to color like all the orange to a different shade. You know, maybe this is like yellow over here. I guess that could work. But there's a lot of decks, and they don't all line up one to one another either. So it's not like one deck will maybe carry on across, or it'll be like a different deck on the other side of the ship. It's just it is weird. So I'm thinking of things and ways I could try to work with that. I would like to do something like on those lines though. So I'll keep on thinking about it, or maybe just like a brief area of color, and then like a directory for that floor. Like deck 5 has, this, and that, and whether it's at the bow of the ship or the aft of the ship or whatnot. But I wanted to get this out there and show you where it's at, and basically I've kind of, short of this one, which is done now. I'm putting a pause on all the other projects that I've got until I can get this thing done. Because it's the only way I'm ever going to get it done. There's just too many projects, and I'm always getting sidetracked into other things, and months have gone by, and I got very little done on this carrier. But now it's almost there. Um, Technical specs of the carrier. Where it's at right now, we're looking at it's at size class 51. By the time I finish up those other rooms, probably around 53 to 54. And also all the LCDs and things that's going to need yet. It's got most of the lighting, so that part's decent. Now, when I was doing all these modifications too, I actually lowered the size class in a lot of these areas by getting rid of NPCs and reducing the light counts and things like that. So I actually brought it back all the way down to like 47. It used to be, I think, even higher. I think it used to be 52. So I managed to get more areas done in the ship without really increasing the size class over what it used to be. And I think it's just, if you see my frame rates, it just seems a whole lot better than it used to be. And that is, I'm very happy about that. Before, when I would get into this area here, my frame rate was terrible. For some reason, and maybe that's a change in the Alpha 12 too. Because I believe what was happening before is it was drawing and rendering all the blocks you couldn't see all the way through the hull of the ship. So when you would look at it at the very front position or the very back of the ship, it would get especially terrible on frame rate. But that seems to have changed now, where it's not having the impact it used to, which I'm very thankful for. Now, everything about this ship is, I mean, honestly, I mean, the game typically, your most of your ships, like, get up to size class 5 or 6, and that's, a big ship. This thing is so far beyond that, it's ridiculous. But it works. It actually works. It actually flies all right too. Now I need to do a survival test on this too. I'm Although this was not designed to land on planets, it still does have some lift thrust. It just doesn't have very much for the size ship it is. But I think it's running. Let's see, one, two. God, it's only two there. It's running at least 6 of those medium-sized thrusters. But one thing I have found is it has a lot of rear thrust to it. It has some pretty big thrusters and a lot of them to power this thing forward. If you did crash land this on a planet, if you pull the front end up a little bit, which you can kind of do, you can push out of the atmosphere again by using the rear thrusters and flying kind of up at an angle out of the atmosphere. So it technically can go on the ground. However, it has no landing gear either, nor is it designed to dock or land anywhere. So, and I'm not going to put landing gear on it. That's just it's not the right kind of ship for that. So, anyway, I will shut up, and I just wanted to give you more of an extensive look at where the space carrier is at, and I'll just keep on plugging away at it until it gets done. And I'm probably thinking at this point in time, I'll probably get this released tomorrow. As an Excalibur's challenge, I still don't know which one I want to send. Either one would be converted to like a white box, untextured, uncolored kind of thing. Both of them would work. I know Excalibur's already seen this, obviously, because he's worked on it. So it's nothing really new where this one is. So although, yeah, I thought it was a really good suggestion that maybe this could be, brought into the thing. I'm thinking I'm going to steer back towards the Kriel ship. It's smaller, it's quicker to look at, and I was thinking I don't really necessarily want this to be seen all untextured and stuff. And if he wanted to take a look at it while he's doing the challenge, this thing is way too big to see much of it, and in white, and so yeah, I'm gonna go back towards this one for the challenge. So all right, well, anyway, you all have yourselves a good day, and I'll have more stuff to show you pretty soon in other videos. I just didn't want to combine it on this video, so probably tomorrow or Wednesday I'll have another one. I wanted to show you work in progress of a Scarley's Kriel space station, not the same one I was working on, a different one, not as big, but a very cool looking station from what I can tell so far. So I wanted to check that out more in depth as well. All right, see you later all.